Good morning, Defenders. I'm Kay.
And I'm Jasmine.
And you may notice we're not at school.
We're at the zoo! Although, regardless of where we are, we still have certain announcements that we will be giving you along the way.
To begin, it's National Nurses Week. Did you know that there's a total of 5,355,450 nurses all across the U.S.?
Gabby and Liam are interviewing a few of the nurses that you may know.
Let's go to them some more.
I think it's honestly something that kind of chose me. I've always wanted to do something in the medical field. I remember playing with a doctor's kit when I was a child, had like Band-Aids, a pretend shot, things like that. I think it kind of started then. I did my associate's degree first, so I was in nursing school for 2 years. After that, I got a job in Lexington, and then I did an online bridge class for my bachelor's degree, and that was an additional 2 years. The fast pace. I like to be on the go. I work a lot. I like to be constantly moving, keeps my mind busy, keeps my hands busy. You get to see something different with each patient. Although sometimes we do see a lot of the same people, but again, you get to see different kind of aspects of care. You get to do all kinds of care, honestly, because we get urgent care type things, of course your critical patients, so it's just a variety.
"18 years. So I spent all of my time at UK in the UK Children's Hospital first. So I did that for 12 years, and then I did pediatric forensic medicine for another 7 years. Oh gosh. What kind of cool? I have a lot of gross stories. Well, I had a kid one time that had broken his leg, so he had a cast on, and I guess it started itching. And he took a hanger and he put it down behind the cast and to scratch. And then several days later, they started to smell something, and they brought him to the hospital. And they had to cut like a little window of the cast out to see. And his skin was just liquefied. It was terrible. I really enjoy being able to take care of people who otherwise couldn't take care of themselves, or, just being able to have that kind of human connection. And you meet people sometimes on the worst day, and if you can make it better at all, that's what I like.
Oh wow, that was really interesting. Thank you to all of our nurses. Did you know that the Louisville Zoo opened on May 1st of 1969 and had 250 animals on exhibit?
Also, while we have your attention, the American Legion Auxiliary Department of Kentucky Girls State Program is looking for junior girls that will be going into their senior year of high school to participate in our 1-week program at Western Kentucky University in Bowling Green. This program is free for students to attend, learning more about how state, federal, and government works.
Oh yes, and not to mention, final exams and Chromebook collections are coming up. Please see the final exam schedule on your screen. Graduates, your final exams start next Thursday, the 5/18, and go through Tuesday, 5/23. We will be collecting your Chromebooks and chargers on Tuesday afternoon. You will not be able to walk for graduation if your Chromebook and charger are not turned in and paid for. Also, all stickers and the residue must be removed prior to turning in, or you may be subjected to a fine. Underclassmen, your final exams start on Monday, 5/22, and go through Thursday, 5/25. We will be collecting your Chromebooks and chargers on Thursday afternoon.
And finally, remember the Bryan Station High School GSA will be meeting Tuesdays from 3:30 to 4:30, and they'll meet at Ms. Stockner's room, room 150.
Attention seniors, today at 11:20, we need you to report to the gym for the 2023 senior class photo. Also, if you are invited to the signing day celebration, you should have a pass. You will be released at 2:15 and head to the gym. Please enter the gym on the 500 side. The celebration will be streamed live on YouTube. Please tune in to celebrate our seniors. If you're interested in making up a credit for a required course during summer school, please read your student email, look at the announcement on Canvas, or contact Stacy Middleton. You can also visit bit.ly/summer23bshs for more information.
And now we will be going back to the zoo.
Hey guys, today we're at the Louisville Zoo, and we're here because it is Animal Appreciation Week.
And we're showing kindness and appreciation towards the animals today. Let's go.
What did the cow say to the sloth that was in front of him?
I don't know.
Get a move on.
Why do zebras have stripes?
I don't know why.
Because they don't want to be spotted.
So I'm going to take you guys on a behind-the-scenes tour of our Animal Conservation Center. It's something that not a lot of people get to see. Most people, when they come to the zoo, they think about all the, the big animals that are out on exhibit and things that families walk past. And you come to the zoo and you have a good time. That's how people usually think of the zoo. But what's forgotten is a lot of the behind-the-scenes work that goes on that directly impacts animal conservation. Since there's so few of these guys left, we have to be very careful about any diseases or anything that would come into this building. This building contains about 5% of the world's black-footed ferrets.
Yeah, so these are the black-footed ferrets. There's 25 adults in there. We have 13 males, 12 females, and we're right in the middle of breeding season. Our first litters are due in about 2 weeks. So they're very excited right now. She's actually pregnant, one of those females that's standing up right there. We have like a seating chart. They all have their names, so I know who's who. They tend to alternate male, female. And then we have a breeding chart over there. We go by, try to breed them. Thankfully, there's a big computer program I don't have to worry about. But pairing them up, I get to play matchmaker, and you hope that it works. If it doesn't, then you move on to the next ones. But I'm sure Jamie told you guys, these guys were declared extinct before. We're very lucky to have them. They all come from 18 founding animals, and of the 18, only 7 reproduced. Not a whole lot of genetic variability going on here, so we try to spread it out as best we can. Their breeding season is light dependent. We start bringing the light cycle up around in December, an hour at a time. So in the peak of winter, it's 9 hours of light, and then all the rest is dark. And then we start coming up 1 hour per month, and that light cycle going up triggers them to think spring's coming, which it is, and it's time to get into breeding mode.
How did you get into this? How did you end up here?
How did I end up here? I started volunteering in high school when I was a sophomore in high school. I've always been a reptile person, so even before the internet, when we just had books and spreadsheets and all that good stuff. So being into reptiles, I started volunteering, and I got hired on after volunteering for a summer in the Herp Aquarium. I did front gate, and then I never left. So I knew I wanted to work in a zoo with animals ever since I was a kid, and it was just getting my foot in the door and trying to stay there. So I worked my way up from guest services. I did guest services as a custodian, and then I got a little bit of college time at U of L, and that let me get into the commissary, which then I got to do diets and deliveries, hay, grain, manure. You get to see all the animals then. And they kind of do it now. Say if an area is short or they need some help, they can farm keepers out of the commissary, because technically it's like the minor leagues of being a keeper. So you kind of get your feet wet. So they'll say, hey, come help us clean these stalls. So I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And you get to see all the animals, so then you kind of decide like, wow, I really want to work with these more. I want to work with these more. But I knew I want to work with the reptiles, so I did reptiles for about 15 years before I did these guys. I've been up here for 3 years now.
Some people mistake you guys, zookeepers and veterinarians, as the same thing. What are like the differences?
A lot of the differences is the amount of training you go through. Veterinarians go through a lot of school. And with exotic species, we tend to get like interns that are in their college years. They rotate around through different facilities. So sometimes you might go to almost like a rescue or something that deals with injured animals that might be cats, dogs, or even like hoof stock, you know, like elk, deer, bison, something like that. And then they send you here and you're working with a snake, a fish, a lion, you know, an elephant. So a lot of training goes into being veterinarians. Zookeepers tend to be a little more hands-on. We do have, you know, a lot of the college experience too, and degrees and things, but the training for veterinarians is far beyond that.
Thank you so much. Awesome.
Why don't you ever see a polar bear wearing shoes?
Why?
Because they like to go barefoot! Goodbye, Defenders! Thank you for coming to the zoo with us. See you next year.